Okay, so keeping tabs wise, you're thinking about getting back into stand up, yeah?
Yeah, that's an you just said off camera. Did you stand up last night because you said you were probably going to do it? I ended up reneging. I probably still could have done it tonight,
Why
but
is that? Last minute jitters.
not at all. Honestly, like, well, I'll tell you where my head was at. Like, even my mom had said earlier in the day, like, dude, don't get up if you're like not really prepared this time, just to do it because you might have a bad time and then be like, oh, I don't want to do stand up right now.
Were
And
you just gonna go like off the cuff for the whole set?
oh, I was planning on preparing stuff, but if it wasn't perfect, still going up and just like making a habit of getting up. Because right now I'm still just trying to get closer and closer to like, hey, I'm gonna put in 6 months of doing stand up and see where I'm at after that. If I'm
It's all
picking up something great.
consistency. You're gonna suck at anything you start in the beginning. Like I'm getting my ass kicked in jujitsu, and the only thing that's gonna get me better is if I continue to roll. I continue to roll, continue to roll, continue to get my ass beat, and then eventually it's like, okay, fuck yeah, we're in. So
Yeah,
tell me about this spot. It was a place in Santa Monica.
yeah. I met with my buddy, a friend of a friend who he's been doing stand up and then I have another stand up friend out here too. And they know of a bunch of open mics where you just pay $5, you do this, you do that, and you get up in front of people. And honestly, like I was talking to Tanner yesterday, he was saying like, dude, like what if the crowd doesn't like you? I'm like, literally, I do not have any preference to these crowds. I know a lot of times with these small groups, they're just thinking about what they're gonna say next. It's honestly just ideally, I would have a set that's like perfect. I mean, it's not even a bad exercise to do someone else's bit. Take the best, because I'm not a great joke writer yet. But
Right.
like, if you had the best stand up you could possibly come up with, 5 minutes of it, what would you do? And then would you be confident to go up on stage and rip that? I would be. I'd be confident as shit. I'm not saying it'd be easy, but
Yeah.
like if you didn't like deliver it the way you want to deliver it,
Yeah.
it'd be fun. Like I know, and I surfed with Tanner yesterday, and I was like trying out some of the material I was thinking about on him, and like one of it, for instance, was like a sketch. And like it was getting laughs. He was freaking laughing because if I find it interesting and I get into the pocket, great. And if the crowd doesn't get it, that's not the worst thing in the world if it's just one time. If you try it out 3 times and you nail your performance, your delivery, and the vision at its highest is still not getting laughs, then back to the drawing board.
And that's how even top comedians do it. Like you always have to build up from the ground up. And they've
I'm
got their little
sure.
notebook and they're trying stuff for the first time.
And
Once
also, like, yeah, there's a chance you try something and you don't do it to the best of its ability, or it's like the wrong audience or this or that.
right. Yeah.
So anyway, a little bit of a bummer I didn't get up yesterday, but I wasn't really expecting to. It was just one of those like lofty goals, sort of, where I was like throwing it out and
Well, I mean,
hope.
that's kind of been something on the back burner for a while, right? A couple years.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me.
No, it's not even that. It's just a matter of like, what are you prioritizing? Like, you've been killing it
Oh,
with the acting stuff lately. The
thanks.
question is like,
Honestly, the pickleball day job stuff has been a
that's
lot,
a
a
lot of
lot
your
of
time.
stuff too. Yeah,
Yeah, but in a good way.
and just like playing a lot. Yeah, I mean, I love it.
Yeah. So it's just a matter of like thinking, like prioritizing stuff. Like, do I put one foot in? All that kind of stuff.
Well, and yeah, two things about those things too. Uh, Also, dude, I did this. I'm working at a new pickleball club in addition to Santa Monica. I'm now at Calabasas Pickleball Club, and which just opened. It's the first of its kind in LA, where it's like 16 sprawling courts,
Wow.
membership only, gym in there. It's beautiful. Like some top dogs are going there and stuff. And I got in early. It's beautiful. And we had this open house Saturday and Sunday where me and three other teachers were working all day. And dude, I like we just crushed it. And it was really nice, man. By the end of it, like I had a moment with the owners who are the nicest guys. First time I've had nice bosses. I've had nice bosses, but these guys like are I could tell are probably gonna be friends for a long time.
Cool.
And big business people. The one guy is Guy Fieri's business partner.
No way.
Hilariously, yeah, he's done a lot of his shows, scripted as well, but he's done well in Hollywood. And by the end, man, they were like, dude, the parents of the kids' classes and stuff, like everyone's just like raving about you. Like everyone loves you, man.
Bro,
Yeah. So that's
that's like it's the ultimate day job.
it's the ultimate, I think,
The ultimate for you, it's the
for me.
ultimate day job. 100%.
I mean, yeah, other than like teaching acting, I'd love to teach acting, but
I mean, yeah, but as far as, even the networking
the
aspect of it,
networking aspect of this is like
you can't beat it. Like what
unconceivable.
like
Yeah,
I
with this,
told on LinkedIn, this shit is like you got a common interest, right? You know, off
my
the
and
bat.
also just like as far as life goes, like the check boxes. This started probably 2 years ago. I really got into pickleball because I like started liking it, and my parents were like, Duke, my dad especially, obviously, is like, get your freaking certification pickleball license and get good enough to where you can teach, and it's gonna be a great day job. And I'm like, yeah, I'm down. And I was like, I don't know if people are gonna like actually want to take lessons from me though, and I don't know if I can get a job anywhere. Am I just gonna do freelance? But maybe because my dad's credibility, and I freaking pushed it, did it, and I'm doing it. It's like wild. It's just another thing where you're like excited that like, hey, I did what I set out to do.
And the
Yeah.
timing was perfect because you're an early adopter. Now if someone was like, "Oh man, there's a lot of opportunity. I should become a teacher." It's too late.
It's still not even too late.
You don't think?
I think this guy is like so the limit. It's like it's a crazy cult, man.
Wow.
Yeah, get in, the water's warm.
Yeah, I guess.
Tanner now is saying he's like, Duke, how long realistically would it take me to like get good at pickleball? I feel like this could be good for my career. I'm like, bro, you're looking at the top dog, man. If you play with me, I give you 2 weeks and you'd be good. Second thing is, yeah, I was talking with him, speaking of which, and I was like, dude, my real dream, stand-up's one thing, but I feel like the best way that I could express myself performing is probably sketch comedy, but also I've dreamt of doing a musical comedy group where we reenact movies like National Treasure in music form. And I'm like, I want to do a group between like me, Tanner, and like his roommate, Noah. And like the audience would like, you say, all right, what movie do you guys want? And then they say like National Treasure, and you like pick it out for the crowd. You're like, okay, and you pull up the Wikipedia, or you don't even need to. Like, hopefully we've seen the movie. But if we haven't, maybe we pull up the Wikipedia, we like read it out loud real quick, and we say, all right, we're gonna boil it down to 3 acts. And then you just go into like acting it out in musical form.
Dude.
I know.
So would you like this would be a live thing?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You can film it
When
too, but
like are there theaters in LA? Like have you thought about how you're gonna
they
do it?
already do stuff like that at, I mean, a group called Baby Wants Candy does a musical comedy show like that at UCB and
Uh-huh.
like and Largo and like, and I mean, I know of black box theaters that I used to do where I did it like a couple times where I would do my sketches. Like I did that ancestry.com sketch and stuff. But you could find places, but ideally we'd have something that's like, like if we were big actors, especially if Tanner's like getting some recognition, and if I do soon too, that means they book you anywhere because you're gonna draw an audience, and then we could do that wherever we want it. But Baby Wants Candy, the group just did musical improv. Like they just took a suggestion from the crowd
Right.
and then they would go into it and like come up with an act structure themselves and stuff. But I just think there's something fun about the crowd knowing a movie and knowing what a movie's about, like National Treasure. It's about a the son of a treasure collector who's also a treasure collector and a historian battling to beat these other people out to find this treasure that happens to be on the Declaration of Independence that the founding fathers like drew up. And if everyone knows that's what it's about, they know there's gonna be certain beats that you have to hit. The beginning where like the villain gets up ahead of Nicolas Cage. And then when Nicolas Cage meets the girl. And then when they first realize it's the Declaration of all these things like me, Tanner, and Noah would have to be on the same page about. You're thinking fast and you have to do it. And like, you could do a
You're like
musical
you're like
too.
singing songs.
Yeah. Well, you start off talking And then when you realize what it is, like Tanner and I already came up with the Dune 2 one. And like you incorporate, it's comedy, so you incorporate the actors and like I was already saying like I am Timothy Chalamet, the Prince of Universe, even though it's gray, but I know I'll find that sandworm when it comes to me. Just something I don't know.
Would
Like
you
goes
have
off.
like a live pianist or something like to?
Yeah, ideally you have instrument
It's
improvisers as
kind of
well.
like Who's
Those are the
Line.
thickest jobs. What?
That was my favorite part of Who's Line when they did the musical stuff.
I love that too. Yeah. My roommate Cal says what's up.
What's up, Kyle?
Um, so anyway, I mean it's a bit of a pipe dream. I'd like to do it soon, but
Yeah, I feel like that's pretty easy, right? Get some flyers, rent out a space,
totally it's just like
done deal.
Tanner's always like busy and stuff. So it's always about finding someone who's down.
Yeah. Well, let me know, bro, if it ever goes up. I'd love to see it.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Think
I
about how sick it'd be like if I got really into any type of live performance consistently. I mean, like all these people that I'm friends with that are like in show business now from pickleball, whatever, would be able to come. Or any of my homies just that are homies. Yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, I have a little chicken parm sandwich here. Gluten
Cheers.
bread. Hyped. How are you doing, man? What's been going on with you?
Bro. You tuck into that. Um, for me, man, I've been I posted a horror short last week.
Wow.
I'm starting up the weekly thing again. The one I'm posting tomorrow, I'm really fucking proud of. Every one of these, Momo, the character, I'm
Mhm.
using her because I got this creepy mask, bro. I got this custom mask. And so I've been making these shorts now, and I'm gonna keep up the consistency now because I just finished the latest draft of my feature. So I have some extra time. And as people are reading that thing, I'm gonna continue to crank these guys out. And it's just me.
But you just at page 85 last week.
Uh
Yeah. I guess
yeah,
that's kind of
yeah. So
fun.
that's now out there. But while people are reading that thing, I want to keep one foot firmly in like the feature Hollywood space of like trying to get things set up and attachments and packages, all the traditional shit. One foot firmly planted there, and the other foot continue to keep up the consistency on YouTube because I still see the value of having an audience and doing your own thing. So, I'm now doing these shorts 100% on my own. So it's just me acting, also DPing, and playing the creature. And I'm doing it all without a tripod, but with the camera. And I'm finding where can I place this thing? Like I had this shot where the Momo creature comes up like over the shower. And so I had to like place the camera up straight up, like put some books on either side to help support it. I had to focus it, like all this kind of shit. But what I was able to come up with on my own and doing all the sound for it and everything, it's like I
Was it only a one person short?
yeah, it's a one person short. And it cuts through like I love my teams. I love the one we did together, the few we did together. I love working with people, and ultimately that is the end game. But I've done so many of these to this point where like I feel,
Wow,
it's
you feel like the future is a one-man wrecking crew, eh?
I mean, a guy that I really look up to, David Sandberg, he did it with his wife. So it was like a two-person crew. But you see behind the scenes footage of he would like paint his arms black and like reach out of the void. That's the kind of shit I'm doing now. And it's fun, man. Like I'm really happy with the result, especially the one I just finished. And
So let me
like
ask you, because that sounds insane. What type of story is there if it's just the monster? There's no victim or anything.
well, I'm the victim because I play like
You
myself.
played Momo. Oh, no way.
Huh?
But you guys are never in the shot together?
No. But it works. It completely works. It's just all I'm doing is adding some specific like boundaries of like, yeah, we can't be in the same shot together. I can't have the run and gun shaky shit. I mean, I can for a few POV shots of myself, but the camera can't be moving when the creature is there. But bro, you can do so much. And like having those constraints, it does force me to be
Yeah.
more creative. And I'm having a lot of fun with it, man. I mean, it's fun to act again too. Now I'm like there, like there's a shot where like I see Momo and like I'm holding the camera out like this to get a close up of me as I'm seeing it, and I'm like acting like I'm seeing it and just getting in the mind of
Mhm.
I've just been following like what we always talk about, which is just be in the circumstance, think of the circumstance, be
Yeah.
in the moment of the thing. And even though Momo isn't there, I'm seeing Momo there while I'm shooting myself. And it's fucking crazy, but it's fun. And like the result looks good.
Isn't that funny that like simplistic story structure like that and just having to do it on your own, it forces you to act with a purpose rather than like in bad acting classes where you have nothing but time.
Mhm.
There's no real purpose to it. You're not shooting anything. It's not no the stakes aren't high to making it.
Yeah.
That's when you get into BS and stuff. Whereas like you're filming something, you're putting it out to an audience that cares.
Mhm.
Stakes are high and you only have you. It's like you're gonna figure out how do I tell this story the best.
Totally.
You said the way to do it is to like think inside the circumstances, like what would really be happening if I was there, in the mind of the character, whatever.
Yeah, man. And I'm thinking about the audience too. Um, as far as where their attention will drop off, are there any logic jumps where they'd be like, why the fuck did that happen?
Right.
Um, in this one too, I feel like the views are going to be higher here because I'm starting to understand like retention and audience staying engaged from the get. Because in the very first shot, I've got this like loud knocking and where it's like a slow push into the door. And I just know that people are going to be engaged. And so then the fall off isn't going to be as steep. And then the impressions are going to go up. And that's what leads to views. So there are what you're saying about like, having a purpose, being like a one man band. I saw so many pitfalls with having a big crew. People are,
Yeah.
tired or like the vibe is a little off or like the,
Bureaucracy of it all. It
yeah.
gets into like just nothing, fluff.
Exactly. And like now, if I want an extra shot, I'm just like, well, it's fucking me. Let's go for it.
Dude, Tanner tells me all the time about these like vibey short films he'll do from like people that they're like through modeling or they're artsy and they have a lot of followers, but they'll get there and they take like 4 days for like a 2 second shoot.
Yeah.
And they don't tell you they're so disorganized. They have no like urgency to it. And
Mhm.
they just stuck. And really what I think about that, I'm like, well, look at something we said then for the lifetime movie that I did, because that guy, there's nothing stylish about it really, but he's got it down to a science. There's someone we said for that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And collaboration is good. And that's definitely a skill. Like the David Sandberg guy I talked about that painted his arms, he when he moved over to features, he talks about he was like renting out this garage in Burbank and it was his first feature set. And everyone on set had already been on sets for like 50 years with Tom Cruise and all this shit. And they looked at him like, oh, this is a Swedish guy who hasn't done shit. Like he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. And he just like went to that Airbnb and cried that first night because like just all the different personalities and managing all that shit, you're basically a manager. You're like a CEO on set. And so it's definitely a specific skill. And I feel like I've cultivated that with all the shoots that I've done.
Right.
And I like that part of it, but it's really fucking nice to just like only have to answer to myself and like only tell myself what to do and not overly have to overly explain stuff to people who aren't getting it right away.
Well, by
It's
the way, I totally, but I feel like at the end of the day, there's not that much to any of it. Like it's not rocket science. Like a shot is a shot down to its fundament. And so like those people that are like they've seen everything, they're the union people,
right.
they've been around forever, they're the tricks of the trade. I think they can be swayed really quickly when you just show that you know what you're doing like pretty quickly, and
Yeah.
then if your vision is just really impassioned and you hit it, none of them can take that away from you.
That's it, man. And I think especially if you're the writer, besides just being the director, you're the only reason everyone's there. Like you created this whole fucking world. So of course you have a specific vision. So I mean, we did that project together where I just came on as director. I feel way more comfortable and confident and specific in my vision when I've actually taken the time to write the whole feature.
I mean, you seem pretty impassioned on that one, and I think everyone like responded to that passion for
I
sure.
appreciate you saying that, man. Yeah. But, at the same time, it's like just the process of writing a feature is so brutal that it's like by that point, you know exactly what you're seeing.
Well, here's the thing. So, like in my dad's movie, on the other hand, he came on, he was the writer, he's a producer, he was everything except for the director. And everyone in the crew, the actors were so confused about what the vibe was because they didn't know who to look to for someone. They looked to someone to see what's the vibe.
Yeah.
Most people do. They look to like someone and they're like, oh, if the director's happy, then we can be happy. If the
Right.
producer's happy, then we can be happy. And like everyone was pretty somber on that movie because they looked to the director and the director's a moody little, bitch. And my dad like wasn't able to talk with anyone or tell them the whole story because he was attempting to do what the director wanted him to do and like not seize power of the movie. He wanted to just like be the actor when he was on set. He was told to do that. And that being said, those people on set and everything, they could tell when enough wins started happening that was clearly would demonstrate that it was like, Van Patten's vision
Mhm.
and that it was a very specific, impassioned vision and everything. The director could only take away so much. And like he was trying. It was tough, but it's astonishing. Yeah.
That's wild that that situation even happened. You know, I mean, on our project we did together, it was a writer, producer, and that is a really interesting spot. Why did your dad not want to direct?
Because he thought directing would be too much work and he wanted to just
I
have
mean,
fun.
he was also the star too. If you're like writing, producing, acting, and directing, that's like it's so
Yeah.
much.
It's a lot. And he directed the last movie he made. So this one he was like, you know what? I'm just gonna hire a great director. Maybe he'll make it better. Maybe, he was trying to say like, his maybe he's got some weaknesses and stuff. And so, but the director ended up kind of giving a good audition. And then when it came time to make the movie, the guy was just he didn't like
That's
it
the one really unfortunate things about filmmaking is you never know what someone is like until they're on set.
on
Because
set.
I've had my biggest experience has been with certain actors, actresses, where yeah, they audition really well and everything's all good and like hunky dory, but
It
as
kind
soon
of
as you,
changes when it's on set.
yeah, man, you're like, who is this person? Like, what the fuck? It's crazy.
Isn't that funny? Yeah.
So, what's the plan with this second one? Does your dad want to direct that one or bring someone else on?
Yeah, I think him and my uncle would direct. Now he's scarred. Now he's like, I have to direct it.
Yep, makes sense.
That makes sense. Because they ended up, by the way, taking over the movie and having to do second unit and edit the whole thing without the director.
Did he have a an editor in place, or did he also edit the whole thing?
The director brought on an editor and they did it and they had to go back in. And like my dad and my uncle sat in the editing room with the editor for like 2 months and just chopped up the whole fucking thing. And the editor probably hated them and said like I've never worked with anyone that was that hands-on before.
But they had to be, and by the end of it too, I mean, it turned out to be a really great film.
I think so. Barstool Sports said so, yeah. And a few other big reviewers, yeah.
And editing is such a crazy part of it because they can be completely separate movies. The
Yeah.
guy, M. Night Shyamalan, made that movie The Visit, and his first cut of it was like really bad, and he had mortgaged his house a couple times in order to be able to get the funds for that movie. Ended up working in his favor because he owned like 100% of that film, and
Right.
it blew up. But he did the same thing with Split. But like for The Visit, his first cut just wasn't it. He went all around town trying to sell this thing. It wasn't working. He just slaved away in that editing room over and over and over
Did
again.
it indie?
Huh?
He just made that movie by himself, indie.
Indie. And Blumhouse ended up picking it up, but it was only after he made those edits and like that intensive, second run. But yeah, man, he made it completely indie, which I have a lot of respect for because at that
That was
time,
before The Sixth Sense. Before The Sixth Sense, you
no,
said?
Sixth Sense kickstarted his whole career. That was back in like '96 or whatever.
Oh, so this movie, The Visit, was
Yeah.
somewhat recently.
The Visit was, I think, like 2015. And
Why could he not get funding for it then?
because do you remember the M Night stretch, like the 2000s? It was brutal, man. It was
He was made fun of a lot and tried up.
yeah, like that was Avatar era. I don't know if you know anything about that, but I have a lot of respect for M Night because
But he made the Avatar movie,
he had this huge
Last Airbender, or a different one.
the live action one from like '04 or something. But that movie did terribly. It got like a 20% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Last Avatar, The Last Airbender.
Yeah,
Oh, well, that's random that he made that. Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
Hmm.
But he had this huge spike in the beginning. They were saying he's the next Spielberg, like after Sixth Sense. And then he had this run of 2000 movies that were kind of rough, and he had to prove himself again, which that's why I got all the respect for him, right? He actually, like, he mortgaged his fucking house in order to make The Visit. The Visit is one of my favorite films, really fucking scary. And then that led to Split, which led to Glass, and now he's just fucking killing it.
Oh yeah, he's had a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah.
Glass with Samuel L. Jackson and all the purple wheelchair.
Uh-huh.
Was that, you like that? I haven't seen it.
I mean that you know,
Fair enough.
no, I didn't love it. I didn't love it. But the Visit and then Split were great. And he's got this movie coming out called Trap that looks really good too.
I guess we got a minute left.
Yeah, we're winding down. I guess I gotta get my certification for pickleball now. I didn't
It's
know there was,
official.
opportunity.
It's a pretty good day job, boy.
Sounds like it.
Dude, have a great week.
You too, man. Keep
Much
crushing it.
love, man. Peace.
Yeah. See you next time.
Sounds good.